Bold and the Beautiful sees Liam Spencer Scott Clifton in surgery fighting for his life. And it looks like he'll be in a coma for a while, and that could change everything on the CBS show. We're going to talk about what game changers might come from Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada shooting Liam, and then Liam falling into this coma that's made even worse by his inoperable cancerous brain tumor. So, right now we have Liam and Luna still in surgery, with Sheila Carter's Kimberlyn Brown challenging toe surgery wrapped up thanks to Dr. Grace Buckingham Cassandra Creech. In a recent video, I said that Lee Finnegan, Naomi Matsuda, and Bridget Forrester, Ashley Jones were going to be doing surgery together, which they did. But I said they should have been operating on Liam, and that's because Lee should not have been operating on her niece, Luna. That's against all medical ethics. But you know, Brad Bell and his writers don't care. So, against all logic, reason, and medical standards, Lee and Bridget were trying to save Luna, and they fail. When I said that it should be Grace operating on her, I was operating under the assumption that the writers understood how things work in hospitals, and you're not supposed to operate on family. Meanwhile, Dr. John Finnegan Tanner Novlin operated on Liam, which also technically probably shouldn't be happening because they are basically family. However, there's no blood or marriage tie there, so I can let Finn operating on Liam slide. But it won't go well, although Finn does save his life. Liam is right now a vengeful sort of hero for shooting lunatic Luna basically, and you know, when she was unarmed, and he saved Steffi Forrester's Jacqueline McInnes Woodlife as a result. And can I say I was more than a little annoyed when Steffi yelled at Sheila, your granddaughter shot Liam. A hello that is Steffi's stepdaughter that shot Liam and Finn's daughter, and he was in the room too. So, why wasn't Steffi yelling at Finn? Why was she trying to blame this all on Sheila? Sheila actually saved Steffi's life like a minute before that. But she was lashing out as usual. That mouth on her is why Luna was ready to shoot her. Steffi is incapable of zipping her lips, even when things would be safer for her if she would shut her face. But anyway, I don't dislike Steffi most of the time. But sometimes, man, she needs to put a sock in it. Anyway, so a very reliable leaker said Sheila was shot in the toe, Luna dies, and Liam ends up in a coma from this ordeal. I published a video on that several days before this came out. And so far, it's confirmed about Sheila's little piggy. Another one bit the dust. And in a leaked clip for Thursday's episode, Poppy Nozawa Romy Park saying she's glad Luna died. So that's confirmed. So I'm willing to bet that the leaker was right on all three. And Liam is in a coma. And that's what Bill Spencer Don Diamond is told this week. Now, we don't know how long this coma is going to last. It could be a day or two. It could be 6 months. I mean, realistically, it could be long term. Personally, I suspect Liam wakes up sooner rather than later. But in the meantime, let's talk about what this coma changes for many people on Bold and the Beautiful. So first off, we got to say, you know, just to entertain all options, there's a chance the coma results in Liam's death. He doesn't wake up at all. He dies from the brain tumor while he's in the coma that's caused by being shot by Luna. And it could be that Liam's cancer-ridden body just can't take the stress and he's in the coma for a few days, and then he just suddenly expires. That's possible. I don't feel like it's probable, but it is possible. We have to acknowledge it. And in that case, Steffi, Hope, Logan, Annika, Noel, Bill, and others would get the rough news that Liam died from the combination of trauma and this advanced disease. However, again, I think it's a long shot. I don't think Liam's going to die. I've been saying that ever since the cancer diagnosis. Scott Clifton is a great actor. B&B would be crazy to let him go. And I'll also say that Liam has been much more likable now that he stopped his waffling. So, another thing that could come out of this coma that Luna caused is Liam is saved from his cancer. I think we could see something like the coma allows Dr. Grace Buckingham some drastic opportunities and options to treat the cancer she didn't have before. If you remember, Hope was just telling Carter Walton Lawrence St. Victor that Liam wasn't getting the treatments because he was worried about his quality of life while undergoing chemo and radiation. And Grace was just telling Finn that Liam really needs to jump at it, that he needs to get treatment. You know, in a coma though, your quality of life is non-existent. So, Grace may ask Bill as his living relative since he's not married to Hope, not married to Steffi. Bill would be the one to decide. Grace may ask Bill for permission to start the cancer treatments while Liam is in the coma as just a Hail Mary. And in the meantime, the Italy story that was shot on location featuring Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, Nick Marone, Jack Wagner, and Ridge Forrester Torsten Kay should be taking up the front burner screen time. So Liam's cancer could be cured off-screen, and he wakes up cancer-free in a month or so once they're done with the Italy stuff. And of course, that would be a miraculous outcome, which I thought we were going to get all along. Now, if this coma gives Grace the chance to successfully treat Liam's cancer, and he survives, then him coming out of the coma with years left to live could change things drastically for Hope and Carter. If Hope finds out Liam's going to live, I don't see her rushing to the altar to get married to Carter. Right before Liam was shot, he was telling Hope how much he loves her. I do believe Liam wanted to be with Hope, but he pushed her towards Carter because he was dying. You know, he didn't want Hope to be alone after he was gone. He wanted Beth to have a good stepdad. But if Liam's cancer is gone and he's got a new lease on life, he may tell Hope, "Listen, I'm going to live. I love you. I want to be with you. Do you want to be with me?" I could see Liam waking up a new man determined to fight for Hope. You know, I saw some clickbait nonsense about Steffi dumping Finn for Liam. And I just want to say that's straight up crazy. If any couple breaks up because Liam wakes up from his coma cancer-free, it's going to be Hope and Carter. I do believe Hope still loves Liam and wants a future with him. But the problem was he had no future. But if that changes because of this coma and Hope gets another chance with Liam, I could see him and Hope reuniting. I could see them celebrating their reunion by getting married again, maybe by having another baby, just life-affirming stuff because Liam would have faced down two possible deaths, the gunshot and the cancer. Another outcome from Liam's coma, I think, would be seeing Bill absolutely racked with guilt that Luna shot his son. I mean, let's be real. Bill's the only reason Luna was pardoned and set free to run amok and do all this. And of course, everybody's furious with Bill. But that's probably not going to be anything compared to how guilty he feels for inadvertently causing Liam's shooting. So, if Bill's son wakes from the coma and beats the cancer, Bill may feel so guilty he retires from Spencer Publications and makes Liam CEO. I think that'd be pretty cool. The last thing is Liam may come out of the coma feeling really bad for taking Luna's life. Not because she was innocent, but because he's not a killer. He's a tree-hugging vegan. It was a heat-of-the-moment deed when Liam shot Luna. Liam may really struggle with the fact he killed someone, even though he did it for all the right reasons to save Steffi's life. But I do think Liam might suffer some PTSD after this. It might be interesting to see him go through a little dark phase. Of course, nobody would hold him shooting Luna against him. I don't think Finn would. I don't think Sheila would. But I don't see Liam taking it lightly that he took a life, even in defense of someone he loves. But I feel like this shooting has been done to set up Lisa Yamada's exit as Luna. She's off shooting another show. And also to cure Liam's cancer, to reboot his character, give him a new life with Hope. And maybe some deeper psychological wounds to deal with PTSD from the shooting and the facing death twice. Something cool, I think, is going to come out of it. I do think Liam's going to pull out of this coma. But we'll wait to see. Los Angeles had never felt so quiet, so unnervingly still, as it did the moment Liam Spencer slipped into a coma. The city pulsed with life outside the hospital windows, but within the sterile white walls of the ICU, time felt frozen. And for those closest to Liam, his family, his exes, and even his rivals, the silence screamed louder than words ever could. It started innocently enough. A heated argument between Liam and Finn had escalated quickly at the Cliff House. Emotions were raw following Luna's shooting incident, one that still left the Forrester family fractured. Finn blamed Liam for pushing too hard, for trying to be the hero in a situation that didn't need one. Liam, in turn, accused Finn of covering for Luna and failing to protect Steffi. What no one expected was the tragic accident that followed. In the middle of the shouting, Liam stepped back, stumbled over a garden chair, and fell headfirst onto the jagged edge of the patio stones. He was rushed to the hospital, but by the time Steffi, Hope, and Bill arrived, he was already unconscious. The diagnosis: a severe traumatic brain injury. The prognosis: uncertain. Doctors couldn't explain what happened next. As Liam's body lay motionless, brain scans began showing signs of unexpected activity, bursts of energy, flashes, as if his mind was navigating a storm of memories and possible futures. Liam wasn't gone. He was somewhere else. In his mind, Liam wandered through versions of his life, each more twisted and surreal than the last. One moment he was marrying Hope under a waterfall. The next he was watching Steffi walk down the aisle towards someone else entirely, Wyatt. He relived every choice he ever made, every betrayal, every heartbreak. The emotional toll of his internal journey was unlike anything he'd ever faced. Then came the voices. Whispers turned to screams, and familiar faces, Brooke, Ridge, even Thomas, appeared, delivering cryptic messages. "You've forgotten who you are, Liam," said a ghost-like version of his mother, Kelly. "You keep trying to fix others, but when will you fix yourself?" He saw the faces of his daughters, Beth and Kelly, flickering like candlelight, reminding him of everything he had to fight for. Outside the dream world, chaos erupted. Hope was inconsolable. She sat by Liam's bedside, whispering promises and apologies, begging him to return to her. For all the turbulence between them, her love for him had never faded. Meanwhile, Steffi found herself questioning everything, especially her current relationship with Finn. "I never stopped loving him," she admitted tearfully to Ridge one evening. Even after all the mistakes, Bill, meanwhile, was a wreck. The Spencer patriarch, always strong, always in control, now spent sleepless nights outside the ICU, pacing and bargaining with a god he wasn't sure he believed in. "You fight, son," he muttered. "You don't get to leave us. Not like this." And then there was Luna. Guilt-ridden, unable to face the Spencer family, she fled the hospital after one short visit. Some whispered that her breakdown might be the result of more than just guilt. Perhaps the trauma had triggered something deeper, darker. As the days dragged on, more visitors arrived. Quinn Fuller made a surprise appearance, her presence rattling Brooke and Ridge. She claimed she was there to support Wyatt, but her connection to Liam and the secrets she held hinted there was more to her visit. Even Thomas Forrester, long Liam's adversary, sat beside him and offered words of truce. "You always thought you were the better man," Thomas said softly. "But I see now. You were just as lost as I was. Maybe when you wake up, we can both do better." His words, though unexpected, seemed to have an effect. The monitors beeped slightly faster, and the room buzzed with renewed hope. The turning point came when little Beth, holding a drawing she made, whispered, "Daddy, wake up. I made this for you. I need you." A tear slipped from Liam's eye. Doctors rushed in. Hope clutched his hand. Steffi gasped. "He heard her," Hope whispered, heart thudding. It was slow at first, a twitch of his fingers, a flutter of the eyes. Then, after a full week in the coma, Liam opened his eyes. His first words weren't what anyone expected. "I saw everything," he murmured. "I saw who I've become. And I don't like it." Hope burst into tears, throwing her arms around him, while Bill stepped back in quiet gratitude, too overwhelmed to speak. But Liam's awakening didn't bring instant peace. His mind was sharper, but different. Something had shifted. He spoke more slowly, deliberately. He didn't seem to be the same Liam they knew, at least not completely. He refused to see Luna. He asked to speak to Thomas privately. And when Hope leaned in, expecting a tender reunion, Liam gently stopped her. "I still love you," he said, "but I think I've been running in circles for too long. I need to figure out who I am outside of the triangle, outside of Spencer drama. I need to heal." Hope was stunned. So was Steffi. So was everyone. As Liam began therapy and took steps toward a new beginning, those around him were left to pick up the pieces. Hope tried to be supportive, but couldn't help fearing she had lost him again. Steffi returned to the Cliff house with questions about her future with Finn. And Bill? Bill vowed to change too, to be a better father, a better man. Seeing his son so close to death had rattled him to the core. "I nearly lost you," he told Liam one night. "And I don't want to waste another second." Liam's coma wasn't just a health scare. It was a shake-up of epic proportions, a reset button on one of the bold and the beautiful's most central characters. Whether this new, introspective Liam would last was anyone's guess. But one thing was certain. Nothing in Los Angeles would ever be the same again. And somewhere in the shadows of the hospital corridor, Luna watched silently, knowing that her secret, the real reason Liam fell, hadn't yet come out. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.